Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, December the 2nd, 2024. Now, this is going to be a very event-oriented week. That means there's a lot of planets that are triggering other planets. And Mercury, communication Mercury, is retrograde, don't forget, until December the 15th. So there could be a lot of mistakes, misinformation, jumping to conclusions. So you just want to be mindful of breathe, take your time, think before reacting, and needing to keep centered. So on Monday, we always start with the moon because the moon sets the public tone, and it will be in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is very uplifting energies, very optimistic, very positive. So that's favorable. However, the moon in Sagittarius will go void of course at 7:48 a.m. till 1:10 p.m. Pacific time, at which point it moves into Capricorn. When the moon is void of course, as I mention every week, the moon is changing signs, but it's no longer making any aspects to other planets, so the energy is flat and unproductive. And with Mercury in retrograde, you definitely do not want to be starting anything new that's important. When the moon goes into Capricorn, we go from that more outgoing, upbeat energy of Sagittarius to Capricorn, which is more pragmatic, more practical, more business-minded. And Venus, creative, romantic Venus, will be in harmony with innovative Uranus throughout the day. If you're an artist, this could be favorable for coming up, having some new ideas, some fresh new ideas artistically. Or if you appreciate the arts and entertainment, then this could be a day that you're being really stimulated to try something new and different creatively. Romantically, you don't want to be starting a new relationship because there's information that you're not aware of. But Uranus is very favorable for friendships, group gatherings, Venus very social. So perhaps after the moon goes into Capricorn, 1:10 p.m. Pacific time, then later in the afternoon, in the evening, and we're in the holiday season, could be favorable for a party, for attending any type of entertainment venue. On Tuesday, the moon continues in sensible, practical Capricorn. It's going to be forming a favorable transit to Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So this is going to happen early afternoon, Pacific time. This is where emotionally the moon, you're feeling much more grounded and secure. With all this transition going on, you're going to feel a little bit more centered. And that could be a good time, early afternoon Pacific time, to be finishing up any previous projects, which is very favorable energies when Mercury is retrograde, is not starting new, but wrapping up and finishing something previous. On Wednesday, the moon continues in Capricorn, but will go void of course, 3:35 p.m. until 8:22 p.m., at which point the moon goes into Aquarius. Capricorn is very traditional, conventional energies, but when it goes into Aquarius, it's more eclectic, quirky, more unconventional energies. But it's Aquarius is very favorable for group activities, hanging out with friends. Now, the Venus, pleasurable Venus, creative Venus, will be in harmony with Neptune. That could be very favorable for charity, compassion, very inspirational, artistically, can be a bit romantic. And the Sun will be in a hard angle to Saturn. So the Sun-Saturn, you could be worrying about business, finances, but Venus in harmony with Neptune, you could be escaping all that heaviness of business, and Venus-Neptune, go to a holiday party, go to a musical event, and like escape for a while all those heavy responsibilities. On Thursday, the moon in quirky, innovative Uranus or Aquarius will be opposite Mars, impatient, irritable, fiery Mars. Now, this just happens once a month. It lasts for maybe 7, 8, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Emotionally, the moon, it might be triggering a lot of anxiousness, nervousness, impulsiveness. This too shall pass. And the retrograde Mercury will be aligning with the Sun. Now, this can be a good thing because that Mercury in retrograde could be favorable for redoing, reevaluating, re-editing. But with the Sun aligning on the retrograde Mercury, you're getting more insight, more awareness of where there might have been some misunderstandings, and you could clear that up. On Friday, December the 6th, Mars, once every 2 years, goes retrograde, joining Mercury, communication Mercury, in retrograde. Mars in retrograde can take more effort to accomplish your goals. Mars is retrograde until February the 23rd, once every 2 years. It is a time there's going to be more irritability, more frustrations. But when it's also occurring with Mercury in retrograde until December the 15th, there might be some arguments, some tensions, some real misunderstandings, a lot of jumping to conclusions. It is the most stressful part of all of that energy is December the 6th until Mercury goes direct, December the 15th. And the moon will also go void of course, once again, 4:02 p.m. through Saturday, Pacific time, 1:50 a.m. And with all that Mercury in retrograde and Mars in retrograde, and it could trigger a lot of anxiousness and irritability. The Mercury in retrograde will be squaring or a stressful angle to Saturn. So there's going to be, that really indicates a lot of blocked communication, making it more difficult to be understood. And then the Mercury in retrograde with the Mars in retrograde. And then moon void, of course. Actually, Friday could be a very favorable day for introspection, for meditation, to taking long walks in nature and centering yourself. On Saturday, now the moon is in Pisces. Pisces is that more charitable, sensitive, empathetic energies. And Venus, loving Venus, creative Venus, will be in harmony with Pluto. And with the moon in Pisces, that Venus-Pluto can really trigger some really heartfelt, deep connections with friends and loved ones. And during the day, the sun in Sagittarius will be opposite Jupiter. Jupiter is actually the planet that rules Sagittarius. So the sun Jupiter on Saturday could be good for traveling and education, but emotionally, it's more optimistic, more upbeat. The Venus-Pluto, you're just feeling the affections more intensely, and it's going into the holiday season with it being Saturday evening, and this could be a very favorable day, especially Saturday evening, for romance, for expressing yourself creatively, really enjoying a holiday gathering festivity. And on Sunday, the moon in Pisces will be in a hard angle to expansive Jupiter, but between 6 and 8 a.m. Pacific time. This is where too much of a good thing. And then with Mercury in retrograde, you could have inflated expectations. So keep it real, keep it grounded. And with Moon in Pisces, maybe by helping those less fortunate, being involved with charity and volunteering will also help keep you more grounded. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.